Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have the distinct privilege of introducing to you your next speaker. Originally from Winnipeg, Manitoba, is here to speak about self-insurance on physical damage, which I know nothing about. I present to you Darren Fisk.
Thank you, Patrick. Insurance is something that we all have in some form or another. Insurance is something that we all hate paying for because it just seems like you're putting money out to something that you don't get anything for until you need it. Until you need the insurance, then we all love it. So one thing at Clayson that we did back in the mid-90s is we looked at how we insured the physical damage to our equipment, our trucks, our trailers, our loaders, any type of equipment to do with our business. And we paid a lot of money to insurance companies for insurance, for them to to look after the repair cost of our equipment when it was damaged. So we we did a study and reviewed the accident history and the costs related to that, and actually, sort of developed a formula where we looked at different scenarios where we could determine whether we should have, say, a higher deductible, a lower deductible, no deductible, So when we did that, we figured out that we were giving away a lot of money to an insurance company. That we gave them money to insure our equipment that didn't get damaged as much as, the costs that we were giving away. So we turned that around and we created what we call a self-insurance fund. The business units pay into the fund based on the value of their equipment, and then we use that fund to pay for damages. So if we have a truck that's involved in a unfortunate single vehicle rollover, that total cost would be ours. So if the truck was lost, a total loss because of complete physical damage, that cost is directly ours. You guys know the values of trucks can range, our most expensive trucks would probably be in the $140,000 area if they're brand new, right? But we have pneumatic tanks that, like Richard had talked earlier, that deliver soda ash. Those tanks are worth $300,000, right? So it was pretty risky. It was pretty scary, kind of nervous about whether or not we should do this. But we soon learned, actually, after 12 months, wow, look at the money we're saving. We put all that money back into our pocket instead of giving it to the insurance companies. So I really, really feel that it was, know that it was definitely beneficial. It's tough for everybody to do. Not everybody can do it. You have to be able to carry those costs. You have to be prepared to pay $140,000 if that's what it costs, right? Or more. So, not to be confused with liability insurance, because everybody has to have liability insurance. So if we damage somebody else's property, our insurer is involved with that. Okay, so not to confuse that. But, like I said earlier, by doing this, we've saved ourselves lots of money. We have better control over how our equipment is fixed. And, it just pays back. So, something to think about. Thank you.
Well, Darren, thank you very much. I never knew all that about insurance companies and how much they rate you and being self-insured. Good. Thanks.
Debbie McCormick. She's came all the way from. Excuse me, my camera's Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present Debbie this afternoon. She's going to give us a presentation on wild boars.
Good afternoon. The phone rings and it's that dreaded call. The pigs are out. You have no idea how our family would jump into action as soon as we heard this. We ran 250 wild boars in 2 separate pens. As soon as we heard that, everybody jumps into the old half-tons, they're dented up, and the safari begins. Off we go to where the call came from. The The boys, each of them would have a half ton. Of course, they're all dented, because 3 Rangy boys, you're not going to have a good half ton. And they would look, and they'd find the tracks, we'd follow. I couldn't track. Those pigs could leave all the footprints they wanted to. Didn't matter, I'd just go the wrong direction. Then off we went, across the fields. Summer followed fields, never across the fields that had the grain. They'd be banging on the sides of the half tons, trying to get the pigs to turn around and come back. One pig we had, named Vic, loved me to death. He got loose one day, and when pigs are like cows, when they get out, they all follow. And he made it to town, about 5 kilometers away from us. So you have a whole line of wild boars going to town. It wasn't a good sight. So we went out there, and all I have to do is yell, Vic, Vic. He'd turn around, and he's like a puppy dog, and he'd come running. And then I'd sit on the tailgate, hit the pail, and away we were like a parade. All our wild boars coming down. We had tusks, and it could be dangerous, but we worked with our boars. So they were like dogs. They'd lay down, they'd roll over, you'd scratch their bellies. But you still had to be cautious. Our middle son was gored. He got quite a few stitches, and it was his own fault. He got too close to the tusks, and my nerves are getting. You have to remember, wild boars are always portrayed as very vicious animals. You watch The Silence of the Lambs or anything like that, and they're mean. And that was the threat at home. Behave. The pigs will eat you. We always use that one. So the kids sort of behave, but not always. But it was more my husband, because he has false teeth. The one thing the pigs can't eat is enamel. So we really threatened him. Cannibalism was a big problem we had, because too many boars, the pens were they were too closed in, and cannibalisms would start. So you'd have to split them out, separate them, and sometimes you'd actually have to shoot them in order to stop it. The market is the reason that we got out of it. I miss them. They ate everything. I could be a real food pusher with them, and I do miss them. But like I said, the markets dropped. We used to send them a lot to Quebec for hunt farms, and I hated that. It was our broker that would do that, but mainly for meat. And if you ever have the privilege, go see some. It's great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Debbie. That was a very interesting subject.